All right, gang, good evening. Welcome to our regularly scheduled Zoning Advisory Commission meeting. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd. Call this meeting to order. Jason, would you take roll, please?
Christ,
Here.
Freustad,
Here.
Lorman,
Here.
Mulligan,
Here.
Norton,
Here.
Russell,
Here.
Zucchero.
Here.
And for the sake of Terry attending online, if you can pull your microphone up so she can hear everyone clearly.
Perfect. Can you confirm we are in compliance with the Iowa Open Meetings Law?
Yes, we are.
Very good. All right, in front of us, commissioners, are the minutes from November the 5th, 2025. I'll entertain any changes or a motion to approve as submitted.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they were been submitted.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Jason?
Christ,
Aye.
Freustad,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Norton,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Zucchero,
Aye.
Mulligan.
Aye. Okay, those minutes are approved as submitted. Thank you, Jason. Okay, this evening we got 3 items on our agenda, specifically 1 action item, 2 public hearings. Just for the sake of getting this part out of the way. So they'll be going to City Council on
December 15th.
December 15th. Okay, so regardless of what occurs here, they will be going before City Council then as well. So let's start with our action item. What I'm going to do is, we'll start with the action, but for the others, we'll have you come up to the podium, state your name, what it is that you're after from the commission. Oh, and your address, if you would as well. That would be great. So let's start with item 1, simple subdivision. Timothy and Peggy Stokel is our applicant here this evening. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Breitbach. I live at 16543 Herod Lane, and I am purchasing the 7 acres from the Stokels, and I'm here tonight to talk about this. So it is a very simple thing that we're doing. We are asking to go ahead and plat off 7 acres, which is, if you're familiar with my facility, it is at the end or the north end of our property that we abut to the Stokels property. The reason that we're doing this is my business, my customers are hitting balls over the fence into their property. We just finished our 31st season. This is not a new problem, although it has become a bigger deal in recent years with the ability of people to hit balls over there. So I tried 2 years ago to put up netting at the bottom of the range, and unfortunately, after spending all that money, it's still a problem. So the Stokels have been great to work with over the years. Not asking to zone it, change it. All I really want to do is eliminate a problem. I don't like the idea that my balls are from our business are landing in their property. And so we've entered into an agreement to purchase it. And I have 3 properties. The red there, the driving range, then the golf course, which is actually a residential subdivision. And then I own property to the west. I own 40 acres combined, but there's a 30-acre parcel there where the marker is. And so that's zoned agricultural. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Any questions for Ron before he takes a seat? Ron, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Staff report this evening is Sheena.
Yeah, Sheena Moon, Associate Planner. So as the applicant articulated, they are looking or seeking a simple subdivision here. So in the exhibit on the screen here before you can see the property that currently exists outlined in blue that's currently owned by the Stokels. And they are looking to subdivide off the bottom 7 acres here shown in green. And so as mentioned, looking to convey that to Mr. Breitbach. for his business use there. So the reason the commission is seeing this evening is because it is considered a simple subdivision. So we're just creating 2 lots. However, there is this lot 2 will not have frontage on a public or private street. So that requires a waiver from the commission and will also then require a waiver from the council. So that is the reason for the request. The access has been addressed to this property. So Mr. Breitbach has worked with his attorney to essentially convey an easement across his property to the south here so that this lot will have legal access. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions that you may have. Oh, I apologize. Yes, if you have a clarification.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Clarification. So the access is to the west.
Here, thank you.
So that it would be, access would be off Harrod Lane, which is a county road. And obviously, I own that property.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I apologize. I also wanted to bring up the actual access agreement. This was a post-packet item that was provided to the commission, and that exhibit was provided in this document as well. So I apologize for that error. Hard to read here, but it is in fact, as the applicant stated. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sheena.
Yeah, so it's here.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Correct.
All right. Any questions for staff? No? Any comments? Pat, can you hit a golf ball that far? No. Okay. Well, evidently somebody can. That's good. Rich? No?
No.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of Stokel Acres, waiving lot frontage on Lot 2.
Second?
We have a motion and we have a second. Jason?
Christ,
Aye.
Froistad,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Norton,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Zucchero,
Aye.
Mulligan.
Aye. Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, Ron.
You're on.
All right, we'll move on to our first public hearing item. Let me get to that on my agenda. Okay, so our first public hearing item is rezoning at 514 through 518 East 22nd Street. Is our applicant here this evening? Come on up. You'd state your name and address and what it is you're after from the commission.
Good evening. I'm Jacob Kohlhaus, 1125 Richards Road. And my wife and I own these 2 buildings side by side by the B branch there. 518, the one further in, is currently being used as a triplex, but it's not zoned R3. And 514, the one closer to the B branch there, is currently being used as a duplex, but it has an attic that is potentially finishable for a sort of one more living space there. Studio, that's the word I'm looking for. We don't have any immediate plans to finish it, but we just thought it would be good to get them zoned into the proper zoning. So that is the request. As you can see, there's a parking lot in back, so it shouldn't cause any issues with 6 residences in that the parking lot has 9 spaces, I believe. So
Yeah,
if you have any concerns, happy to answer them.
thank you, Jacob. Any questions for Jacob? No? Okay, Jacob, you can have a seat. Thanks. All right, this will be kind of silly because this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open it up for any public comments. Seeing none, great, I'll close it. Jason?
Yes.
You would, staff report?
Assistant Planner Jason Duba. The applicant proposes to rezone the subject property from R2A alternate 2-family residential to R3 moderate density multifamily residential. The property at 514 East 22nd was built in 1906, while the property at 518 East 22nd was built in 1915. The neighborhood around the properties changed dramatically with the development of the B Branch Creek and Park. Numerous houses were demolished to the south and west of the subject properties. The neighborhood has a mix of uses with single-family homes, multifamily dwellings, a bar, a restaurant, and institutions including Audubon Elementary School and Holy Catholic Church. The subject properties are adjacent and together total approximately a third of an acre. The combined frontage is approximately 91 feet, and the two properties share a driveway, and each property has a paved parking area that can accommodate 5 cars for a total of 9 or 10 parking spaces. The Iowa DOT categorizes East 22nd as a minor arterial. The most recent traffic count is from 2021 and shows an average daily count of 4,250 vehicles. Rezoning the subject properties would, at most, lead to 1 additional dwelling unit, which should not increase vehicle trips substantially. The subject property consists of 2 lots which are already developed. The applicant proposes to potentially add 1 dwelling unit to the unfinished 3rd story of 514. This would be reviewed and approved by the city's Inspection and Construction Services Division. And since neither building would be expanded, the proposed rezoning is not anticipated to have adverse impacts on the environment. The subject properties are adjacent to residential uses to the north. To the east, south, and west are open areas for Audubon Elementary and the B branch. The R3 district allows for residential units from single family up to a 6-unit multifamily dwelling, whereas R2A allows for 2 units. The applicant has indicated that 518 East 22nd is legally non-conforming with 3 units, so the rezoning would bring the property into conformance. And this would create the potential to add 1 unit in 514. Both properties have the code required 6,000 square feet of minimum lot area to allow for 3 residential units. Both seem to have the 5 code required off-street parking spaces. So given that they are adjacent to open area, the modest change in zoning does not seem to impact adjacent properties in any significant way. The existing R2A zoning district allows for 11 principal permitted uses, and the proposed R3 zoning district allows for 12 principal permitted uses, 10 of which are common to both districts, the differences being multifamily dwellings and up to 6 units. The comprehensive plan includes several recommendations that support the requested rezoning, encouraging a mix of housing affordable for all segments of Dubuque's population throughout the community, encouraging new multifamily development in proximity to jobs to minimize transportation costs, creating a vibrant environment where residents can live, work, and play within walking and biking distance of their home and opportunity sites throughout the community, integrating a variety of residential product types in mixed-use areas, including multifamily products, linking existing and future development with open space and trail corridors. The city's future land use map identifies 514 as single family and 518 as multifamily. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Any questions for staff? Okay, any comments amongst the commission, or I'll entertain a motion from our commission.
Mr. Chair, I motion to rezone the property at 514 and 518 East 22nd Street from R2 family to R3 moderate density multifamily residential.
I'll second that.
Sounds good. We have a motion and a second. Jason?
Christ,
Aye.
Froistad,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Norton,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Zucchero,
Aye.
Mulligan.
Aye. Okay. The motion passes. It'll go before City Council on December the 15th. Jacob, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to recuse myself from this next item.
Sounds good. All right, let me get to our last item here. Okay, here we go. Our next is a traditional rezoning, 2900 block of Davenport Street. Is our applicant here this evening? The floor is yours.
Corinne and Sean Shriver. We live at 2884 Davenport Street, which is adjacent to the property. We're asking for a couple of things. We have 2 lots that we own. One is currently zoned agriculture with conditions. So one of our asks is that one of the conditions be lifted, which was the number and type of goats that were allowed on the property. We successfully had goats on the property for about 1.5 years now with no incidents. We use them currently for weed management. Sean is currently in the process of working with the NRCS to convert the ball diamond, which is no longer being used, into rotational grazing pasture, which is going to increase our ability to have a larger goat herd. So that's where that ask is coming from. The other ask is the other lot. Yep, the smaller lot. We did not originally have that rezoned ag because we anticipated possibly building a home there. Now that's no longer the case, so we'd ask to rezone that ag with the same conditions as the other property.
We're also going to enter into a 5-year contractual study with the NRCS to demonstrate different unique fodder crops, licensed hemp cultivation for soil remediation and nitrogen runoff control, and then also the hemp or the fodder stocks on goats. So we have meat goats as is now, and we're looking to add 6 more. The 6 new ones will be cycled through each year. They'll be basically raised from kids to harvest weight within probably 10 months, and then they'll be sent to locker, and then we'll start with 5 more kids in order to demonstrate the feed characteristics and the weight gain and productivity of the new fodder crops.
Got it.
And along with the goat ask, we do ask that we're allowed to have up to 1 pig should we so choose. We don't know if we are actually going to do that, but just thinking long-term food sustainability and self-sufficiency, if we could have that added as well, that would be appreciated.
Very good. Thank you. Well, before
We
you
also
sit down.
did service all of our neighbors as well. We had private conversations after we sent, Travis printed us out the city mailer that went out.
Yeah.
And then we went around and talked to all the neighbors that were home, which was about 26 to 27 neighbors, and nobody expressed any concerns to me. And actually, most of them were supportive or apathetic.
Okay, Sean, Corinne, thank you. Hang on 1 second. Let's just make sure. Does anybody from the commission have questions for Sean or Corinne? No? Okay. Thanks, guys. All right, this is a public hearing, so I'll open the floor and I'll close it. Excellent. Travis?
Yes, Assistant Planner Travis Schrobelgen. So as the applicant stated, they're looking to rezone from R1, which is a little flag lot with the parking lot area, and then the current farm area, which includes the ball diamonds there. That one is ag with conditions, and those conditions currently are, that it's just one condition. It's the animals allowed on the subject property are limited to fowl, excluding ratites, which is ostrich, rhea, emus, etc. Bees, maximum of 5 pygmy goats, and aquaponics. Rezoning to ag, if you do just a straight up rezoning, which you're welcome to, that is the request today, just straight ag. Any animals that are allowed as livestock would be permitted on the site. You're welcome to add any conditions and put any limitations on that. That is completely at your discretion. There was no public input received, as the applicant stated. It did go out to a 200-foot radius all the way around the properties. The property would require site plan review of any developments that happen to go on to the property. This is a slight increase in an ag district, but the general traffic pattern and the use wouldn't increase any traffic or impact utilities additionally in any way. The comprehensive plan does encourage creation of edible landscaping, community gardens, and it does encourage education programming, mixed use, and infill development. This site does have some constraints to it. It sat for many, many years after Holy Ghost had it. Due to its access and topography and underlying stone. So this has been a pretty good use for it, and we have not received complaints regarding the property. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thanks, Travis. I like the comment from the goats. Thank you. I don't know if you saw that on their letter, but the goats had a comment, Rich. That's right. All right, sounds good. Any comments from the commission this evening?
So is the applicant requesting to rezone both of them ag or just change the conditions?
Right now, the request is for the properties to be rezoned to ag. Again, you can discuss with the applicant any conditions you might seem reasonable.
So were there conditions recommended?
No, none recommended. No. That I was just pointing out the current ag with conditions district in green there on the screen. But that's the condition that's on that property. And that limits their number of goats, the type of goats, and then limits to bees and aquaponics.
Yeah, we're removing all the
You would,
limitations they've got.
yeah, if as submitted, it would remove all conditions.
Usually we're going the other direction, so that's good. All right, well, I'll motion to approve as submitted by the applicant.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Jason?
Christ,
Aye.
Froistad,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Zaccaro,
Aye.
Mulligan.
Aye. Okay, that motion passes and will go before City Council on December the 15th. Thanks, guys. All right. Good timing, team. Let me get back to our agenda here. All right, any items from the public? Great, seeing none. Any items from the commission? Hope you all have a nice Christmas.
Yes.
It's already here. Any items from staff?
I don't believe we have anything, but we would just second that and say I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the new year.
All right. How do I end this meeting? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks all. Thanks, Terry.